Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and hello, Mr. Kirioth. Are you okay there?
Oh. I don't know what that expression was.
Welcome to HOTFIX, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first of a number of, I'm going to call them special hotfixes, bloke. Not really special, they're just hotfixes, but I'm going to call them special anyway.
Special features.
Yes,
Special
on
features.
E3,
Yeah.
Mr. Kirioth, E3. And we're going to start with what you can see below, and obviously on the title of the video, and that is the Microsoft E3, and because I'm down with the lingo, presser. That's right. Not conference, or not press conference, presser. Because I'm in the industry. I'm not really, but... M for Microsoft. Billy Gates. He was the man who was in charge. So, Mr. Kirioth, right? Straight away. All right, so let's go back to last year. Xbox One launch announcement thing, whatever the hell they did at E3. Yep. Well, did they unveil it? Was that when they unveiled it? Was it the year before?
Yeah,
I don't even know.
It was a big unveiling, and we're going to be able to do this, that, and the other, and look how much television you can watch on your Xbox, and entertainment, and cloud, and
Buzzword, Azure, the Azure crowd,
the Azure
cloud services. Yeah, so basically, what they were like, check out our amazing Xbox. It has all of these stupid features nobody cares about. You can now use it as your set-top box. Nobody cares about that. You can also,
unless you're not in America,
in
which case you can't do that.
True, yeah, it only works in America, which is weird.
Yeah, but it's just not great.
So, they got slammed, and rightfully so. Everybody slammed them. And also, the Xbox One is underpowered compared to the PS4, and the PS4 destroys it for visuals and all kinds of stuff. It's a bad place to be for Microsoft, and they know it. So this year, right, they knew this. So all they did was, they came out, old Phil came out on the stage, and he went, so we know what we've done, and we know we were stupid. This is what he said in a roundabout way. He didn't apologise for it, but he just said, there will be just games in this press conference. Goodbye, and walk off the stage.
He said, look, we've been through a rough time. We've had a rocky period. I just want to apologise. I know I did you wrong. I don't want you to take me back. And he had all tears rolling down his face, and he had a little bunch of flowers and a box of chocolates.
He was good.
And a little teddy bear. He's like, please take me back, please. What was his name? Don Matrick last time.
Oh Christ, yeah, but he works for Zenga. He works for Zenga.
He's like, we fired him. He was like, he's left. He's not here. He's going to be better.
That's what I should have said. That's what you should have just walked on the stage. We fired that wanker who's in charge of the media strategy or whatever. Our new plan is games.
And then walk off.
And
just walks on. Matrix left, drops the microphone, and then just walks off again, and the crowd goes, yeah!
So, he said it's just going to be games, and it was, to be fair to them, for apart from like a minute of crap, it was just solid games, okay? So, for 90 minutes, they showed you games after game. So, let's start with the first game they showed you, Mr. Kirioth, and that was Call of Duty, I believe.
Yes.
Right, now, I mean, if you watched me on the Polaris co-optional podcast or whatever the hell it's called, I did say I quite enjoy Call of Duty single-player campaigns. They're like a really shitty action film, and I sort of play them and it's fine and whatever.
Yeah, they're stupid but funny.
Yeah, but the last one was really shit and it was terrible. However, this little trailer that they showed for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, to be fair, actually looked quite good. Like, it looked quite futuristic in like a plausible way. Kind of, but it looked quite nice, and I was quite like, okay, that's not bad. I still don't want to buy an Xbox One at this point. In fact, let's do this throughout the video. When a point hits, Mr. Kirioth, when you're going to buy an Xbox One, you've got to say, I would now buy an Xbox One.
I will.
Okay?
I'll keep that in mind. If at any point I feel the urge to buy an Xbox One, I will let you know.
So you want to say anything about Call of Duty? It's just Call of Duty. I mean, what else can we say? Oh, I think it's got the DLC. Is the DLC first on the Xbox?
The DLC is going to be on Xbox One.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just your standard Activision being paid off or whatever. That's not really anything particularly interesting. I don't know. Advanced Warfare looks more interesting than the previous Call of Duties for the past, 4 years. But I don't know whether that's really saying anything or not, because they've just got progressively more stupid and yet somehow more exactly the same as they were before. So, the fact that it looks a little bit different, I don't know. It could be interesting, but I'm not going to buy an Xbox One to play a first-person shooter, let alone Call of Duty, sir.
But if you were a Call of Duty addict, you should probably buy an Xbox One, even though the experience is probably better on the PS4 and obviously way better on the PC. PC community for Call of Duty is terrible. But if you want the DLC first, then yeah, but like Kiri said, it's just a fucking deal. It's a stupid deal. It's like, have an exclusivity deal. We're going to pay loads of money for it. Activision are like, let's do it. They don't give a shit, so they do it. So
that's exactly the noise the CEO made. You went.
I don't know the order the games came out from then on, because we're just going to go into Halo. Okay, so this is kind of like, this was like a big announcement for them, all right? And when I was monitoring Twitter, we were very active on Twitter during the E3 conferences. Loads of people are talking about Halo. This is amazing. Anniversary edition, or whatever the hell they call it. Collection. I don't know.
What is it? The Master Chief Collection? I think.
The Master Chief. So Halo 2 was apparently a really good game on the consoles, multiplayer, 10 years ago or something. And it's like, to me, this means nothing, because I played Halo 4. I also played another Halo, which was co-op. Might be Halo 3, I'm not sure. But they're the only Halo games I've played. I've not played any of them multiplayer. I played a little bit of Halo 4 multiplayer. I just couldn't play it because it's a console FPS. But I've never got the hype behind Halo. I understand it was kind of the first big console FPS. So for a lot of people who had Xboxes back in the day, it was like, oh, this is amazing. You know, because basically that was only available on PC, really, wasn't it? That experience.
Basically the thing that launched the Xbox, wasn't it? It was the thing that really pushed it to the forefront and made it actually relevant. And I mean, as a franchise, it's got a lot of really dedicated fans. I mean, I follow quite a lot of the Rooster Teeth guys, and when they're announcing the Halo Master Chef collection of
but they make fucking loads of money off it.
Well, yeah, it was like there was millions of tweets just, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. I can kind of see if you're a Halo fanatic, that would be exciting. But to be honest, as someone who played the first one on PC, what is it, Combat Evolved on PC, skipped all of the others and has not played it since, I don't really care. It's like, that seems like a very niche thing to me, a very strange thing to decide to
steal your vocabulary, Mr. Kirioth. Does this not smack of desperation because they are having to re-release old games? Is that an issue, or does that even matter?
I don't know.
If they're going to give it you at 60 FPS, 1080p, would you take it? Or would it be like, hang on, I would prefer a newer, IP or some sort of newer game, not just the same old shit rehashed again. You know.
The thing is, I don't really want to make of it, because they've already said there's going to be a new Halo game,
which they showed nothing of, by the way, guys.
I mean, they showed nothing of
a fucking cinematic trailer that showed nothing.
They've already confirmed it, so it's like they're already doing the new game. So why they're going back and doing all of the old ones, I don't know. I mean, it might get more people into Halo. There might be people thinking, well, I missed it all those years ago. I'm not going to go back and play fucking Halo 1 now because it will make my eyes bleed. And there's nothing that is even capable. Like, nothing's going to fucking run it now because it's so old. But I don't know how many people it's actually going to grab with that. And again, it's not. I'm not going to pick up an Xbox One because I can go back and play Halo 1.
Yeah.
It's like I can see why it would appeal to some, but it seems like a very strange decision to make to me. Especially when they're making a new Halo game anyway. It's like, what? Why are you spending time and money like redeveloping these maps and boosting everything up and making it look brand new when you've just got a brand new game coming anyway? What's the deal with that? Especially since, as far as I know, most of the Halo games were available on the Xbox 360 anyway.
I know, but I think isn't the big thing the Halo 2 multiplayer is back or something? Is that some? I mean, again, like, guys, I honestly do not know. I've never played Halo 2 at all.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I don't know. It just seems a bit weird.
Why is Halo 4's multiplayer no good? What's the problem with that? And what about Halo ODST or whatever, in that Halo other game, in that one on fucking Steam? Why are they not included? Are they just like bastard creations?
I think they don't have Master Chef, do they?
Oh, is that the thing? No Master Chef,
random
no
wankers.
fucking...
They don't have Master Chef. So it's just the ones that have got the Master Chef in.
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay.
You fucking fuck. That's how Gordon Ramsay. Anyway, so we're going to move on, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is the Microsoft HOTFIX, and we are in the Microsoft press conference right now, or the presser. But we're going to talk about Assassin's Creed. Now, we'll talk about this when we do the Ubisoft one as well. But
yeah,
they showed Assassin's Creed off, and straight away they showed off the multiplayer aspect of it, which is more right than Ubisoft showed in their conference. They just showed loads of like single player,
really
and then
random.
And then it cuts to the multiplayer and just ended. It was like, what? Well, anyway, the Microsoft one showed you some of the multiplayer. So basically, you're in France, which is kind of funny to us because killing French people. I'll take that.
Although I bet it means that the people you're playing are French as well.
That could be a problem. But it's just co-op. It just looked like a generic Assassin's Creed game, okay, where for some reason it gets further and further into the future, but there's less reliance on firearms. Like, they didn't even show you shoot anyone. It was like, fuck the guns. We're going back to stabbing again, even though our guns are more efficient now than they were in like.
I can't remember whether it was in the Ubisoft one or the Microsoft one where the main character took a shot to the heart and just carried on. That was quite funny.
Oh yeah, he got shot.
That might have been in the single player bit, but
yeah.
I mean,
I think that was a Ubisoft one.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who really liked the first 4 Assassin's Creed games and then just stopped half an hour into Assassin's Creed 3, see how that works out in terms of maths. Yeah, I like the first 4, but the third one was shit. It doesn't make any sense. Assassin's Creed 3 was just terrible, and I stopped playing it within half an hour. It put me off enough that I still not got around to...
Was that not my copy? Did I not have that and give that to you or something?
No. My wife bought it for me, which made me feel really bad
gift.
because she bought it for me, and then we tried playing it, and we were both like, this is just shit. And we played like from the first one all the way through to Revelations together, and the third one was just terrible.
It was bad enough. It really was poor.
Although, I've got a free copy of Black Flag, right, that came with the graphics card when I had to replace my graphics card. And I still haven't installed it because 3 was so
I have as well.
that I just don't care. It's
yeah. You bought an Nvidia card, didn't you? Because I've got it. I'm sure I've got that as well. Yeah.
I should probably get round to actually installing it and playing it because it's meant to be way better. No,
I think
3.
I gave mine away. I don't know.
I just, I don't know. I like the idea of playing it co-op because that might mean that I can actually play it with my wife. That would be nice. I'd enjoy that. But at the same time, I can see that if you're just playing it with your mates, it's going to be an absolute clusterfuck. It just is. If it's like assassinate this target without being seen, you know full fucking well that someone's going to be like, yeah, but I'll just kill all the guards. And they'll fail the mission because they'll just run in and stab someone.
Yeah, and it'll just be endless arguments.
Take fucking bastard. I was trying to play that game. That wouldn't bloody work, would it? Especially when it comes to stealth. It'd be like, yeah, but we can have a massive fight. And that would be it. It's like...
isn't Assassin's Creed famous for bodies? Like piles of bodies? Like, I remember playing 4, and I was standing in like a... No, this might have been 3, actually. It was one of them. They're all the same to me. I don't know. And I'm standing in like a town, and I'm just butchering guards as they come in. And they were redcoats, so I don't know whether that's 4 or 3. I think they were both.
That'd be 3.
Fuck knows. I was killing them anyway. I think it was 4. I don't know, bloke. I was killing them, and it's just like piles of bodies. But now there'll be twice the piles of bodies because there'll just be 2 of us killing. Yeah. I don't know. But everywhere. Like, honestly, Assassin's Creed,
everywhere.
It's never really been a game which I've been like, holy shit, it's Assassin's Creed. I've played some of them, like I've said, and on and off. Kirio's played them more. But this looks more appealing to me because it's multiplayer. But in terms of Microsoft, I would just play it on the PC. I would not play it on an Xbox One. So I'm just like, I don't care. Yeah. So whatever. We're going to move on, Mr. Kirioth. The next game we've got is... It's Dragon Age Inquisition. Now, before we go into this, right, because we're going to specifically talk in detail on what they showed in the Microsoft press briefing. However, I have seen a Twitch E3 show. Like, they do this little, like, they've got these half-an-hour segments with the games, like on all the games at the show. The one for Inquisition was actually pretty fucking good. However, what they showed in the E3 press conference for Microsoft was... kind of iffy. So what they did was they said, here's Assassin's Creed Inquisition.
Assassin's Creed Inquisition?
Good God. Here's Dragon Age Inquisition. Inventing games as we go. You can attack dragons, and you can attack like the... like you can kill dragons in Assassin's... it's not Assassin's Creed, whatever the game's called. But you can attack like their arms, and legs, and the wings, and whatever. It was like, oh, check this out. But what the gameplay they're actually shown looked really quite bad. Like, graphically looked pretty poor. And I thought this is not...
Graphically it looked poor, and gameplay-wise it looked kind of poor. Like, I've been really looking forward to Inquisition, because the first Dragon Age was absolutely awesome.
The first one is one of the best.
Guys, go and buy that. Literally like 4 times.
You got the collector's edition or something as well? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
but basically,
it's
guys,
really, really
buy
good,
that.
But...
Go out and buy, because it's so cheap. It's always on Steam sales as well.
Yeah.
Do not buy Dragon Age 2. That is fucking crap, but Mr. Kirioth will tell you about
that. That's the thing. Dragon Age 2 was dreadful. Dragon Age Origins holds up. Like, I could go back and play it all the way through to completion again today.
We're talking like 200 hours of gameplay, if you did everything.
It's just a fantastic game. Dragon Age 2 was just poor. I don't know what they decided to do with that. It was like they mixed Mass Effect and Dragon Age and took all the worst aspects of both and then mixed them together with a terrible story. And it just was not good. It was not good in any way. Inquisition was supposed to be like, by the look of it, I thought it was going to be more like Origins. Like, I was expecting it to be a bit more like that. But the gameplay trailer that was shown for the Microsoft conference was just like... It was not inspiring. It was just dull.
It's kind of the problem, I suppose, like because I've seen the E3 thing, and it was exactly like Dragon Age Origins, you know, where you can change the camera view and order people around, and it's swapping between players, telling them to cast heals, cast attacks, and all that shit. But what they showed, not in the E3 conference, graphically was really impressive. Like it looked really good. Like they were running around the hinterlands, I think they called it, and it looked really good. Because I mean, it's running on Frostbite, which is a really good. Good lord, which is a really good. That's a dog, by the way, God. It's like a really good graphics engine, like visually. Obviously, it runs Battlefield and stuff, so it looks really nice. It looked hello, Mutt. It looked really good, like really good. But we really don't know that much about the game. I mean, what they showed in the conference for Microsoft was really minimal. So it was. Oh, unless Mr. Kirioth has something to say, boy, speak up, boy.
It was just a bit dull. I'm really hoping that actually, when we see more of it, if we see more gameplay, and if we have a better idea of, you know, how
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm hoping it's good, but I think they need to work on how they're presenting it. Especially, I mean, E3 is like it's the thing for press, isn't it? It might be like overhyped and overblown and daft, but if you really want to make an impact somewhere, you kind of want to make it in E3. And Inquisition did not do it for me. For the Microsoft one, it just didn't look great, which is a problem, really, for a game of that size. That's got so much to live up to.
But it's an EA game, so it's like when they show it in the EA press conference, they show a bit more, and it's all weird. It's weird. The next game, Mr. Kirioth, is Scalebound. Now, this is from Platinum Games. Now, Platinum Games, I believe they made Metal Gear Solid Revengeance. Right, the stupid spin-off game. And Bayonetta. And now I played Revengeance, and that was crazy. Like that was really entertaining. I was like, "Holy shit, this is just crazy!" It like the way you could just slash people into like 1,000 pieces. Like, what the fuck?
It was mental.
I played Bayonetta right on the PS3. Now, I'm sure at the time it was acceptable, but it's not acceptable to me because the resolution is so terribly bad and my eyes were bleeding. However, I played it and you could see that the mechanics were pretty good. Now, Platinum Games are synonymous, with amazing gameplay mechanics, like combat mechanics and all this stuff. So whatever the hell this is, now this you may notice, guys, I'm saying whatever the hell this is. Surely I should know what it is because they've shown it in a press conference. Because all they fucking showed was like a trailer which was pre-rendered and was like a dragon and a guy, and that was
just
it.
A cinematic trailer. There was no in-game stuff. I mean, I've played Bayonetta a lot more than you have at this point because me and my wife are playing through it.
I gave it to you, didn't I? Because I was like, just take it away. Take it away.
It is old, it's dated, but it's a really fun game, and there's some ridiculous stuff you can do in it. And it's exactly like, you know, Metal Gear Rising, Vengeance, and Bayonetta. It's essentially the same game with the different skin. It's mental, over-the-top action with insane combat that quite clearly would never actually work ever in a million years. But it's like actually doing it, you're just thinking, Jesus, this is just mad. So Scalebound, if it's anything like those,
which
I
it must
would
be
really happy about.
It will be. It's got to be. It's got to be. Surely.
It's got to be. But I wish they'd just shown something other than just.
Do you want to buy an Xbox One off a cinematic trailer?
No, not off
so
a cinematic
why the fuck
trailer?
are they showing us? It's retarded. We move on, Mr. Kirioth. Now this is a game which I just don't like because it's too American. That's all I'm going to say. It's too like I'm from the 90s and I'm American. Hey, dude, rad, ultra, mega, or whatever the hell they say at that time period. Okay. This is Sunset Overdrive. Now, number one, I have no fucking idea what this is supposed to be, right? The colours are like so insanely bright. It looks like you are on some sort of banned narcotic, right? Or they were on a banned narcotic when they made it, right?
It looks like Team Fortress 2 fucked a box of crayons is what it looks like.
Yeah, it's like Team Fortress 2, but with like the contrast fucking rammed up to maximum. And it's like, whoa, what are all these crazy colours? But I don't get what it is. I mean, it's supposed to be like it looks like an open worldy game. Okay, where you can sort of interact with the environment, so you can like slide down railings and jump over shit and use zip cords and whatever, or zip lines. And there's like monsters everywhere, and you can kill them. And it's really cheesy and really like, oh my god, dude, oh my god, like really like that. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I don't know.
Do you want to buy an Xbox One after that, Mr. Kirioth?
No, I think that is going to be a big problem though. With games like that, I think that will always be a problem. The humour is not.
But at least it's a new IP. But
I mean, it's a new IP, but it's like I'm not going to go for it because the humour just isn't aimed at me. It's like seeing some skinny guy with an American accent swing down and go cover mechanics in a stupid accent and then run off. I don't think haha, that's funny. I'm just like
twat.
it's not over my head. It's just not my humour. It's
But
like there are
having
plenty
said
of
that,
games that
you
I
know
haven't got because the humour's just not there for me.
I don't mean this with any disrespect, but Americans I follow on Twitter, they were like, "Oh, this looks great," and "Oh, this looks pretty good," and I'm like,
that, yeah.
"This is shit. What are you talking about?"
I noticed that again. Quite a few like the Rooster Teeth people that I follow, are like, "Oh, Sunset Overdrive looks amazing." It was all the American ones. It was the Americans that were going, "This looks really good," and I was like, "Doesn't look that good."
I mean, we're not having a dig. Obviously, there are cultural differences, but to me, that looks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even like because the trailer they showed, it opened up. I mean, I know we can't actually show the trailers, guys, because we'll just get copyright claimed into oblivion. But the trailer they showed opened up with like it. I even said to you tonight at the time, I was like, "Is this Counter-Strike or something?" Because there was like a soldier in like a warehouse, and he was pinned down by terrorists
behind a box,
getting shot, and then all of a sudden, this like. I don't even know what you would call him.
Guy with a
dude or whatever
guy just
comes through the window with denim jackets on and shit, and he's like, "Oh my god!" and he starts killing him. It's like, yeah, no, I'll get my coat. So that's not doing it for me, Mr. Kirioth. What they showed me was not doing it for me. It looks over the top. It's really bright colours, but I guess the eternal question of this hotfix is like, would you buy an Xbox One based off that? No, I wouldn't, because I just
it could well be when it comes out. It turns out to have like good fun mechanics and stuff, but if you're going to sell a game on the basis of the humour of the game, then you need to make sure that the humour is going to reach out. And honestly, I think like for us as British chaps, we just like no. I think a lot of people in Europe also wouldn't really get it because the humour over here is just a lot more sort of it's a lot more ironic and sarcastic, I guess, than US humour.
You know what?
And so it doesn't really translate.
You know, Rick Mail died, which was a massive tragedy to the entire country.
It really was.
It really was. We don't even know what he died of, but well, apparently the reports I heard is he had a bit of epilepsy because he smashed his head in on a quad bike in 1998, and in the past he forgot to take his medication and had fits, and I think he forgot to take his medication, had a fit, and fell down the stairs and bossed his neck or something. But we don't know. Anyway, he went on to Letterman, which is an American show. I guess the Americans know what this is. I think it's like a late night show thing, okay? And it was really awkward because they did not find him funny at all. And you could see he was like, "You're a bunch of cunts." And what he was saying, like he made a joke about like something. This is about as entertaining as a fire in an orphanage or something. He said they just were like,
"Yeah, it's just." Completely different culture, isn't it? It just doesn't.
It's what I'm trying to get at. It's like it just doesn't work. Like that type of humor where it's like dry, very dry. It's like it doesn't really seem to work. Like it's almost like it needs to be overly obvious. Like, "Oh wow, this is a joke," and everybody laughs. Like, not this is like a sort of like whatever. But whatever. Let's move on. So. Next game we've got is this was Dance Central, which I don't think actually showed any of the dancing. It was just like Dance Central.
This was the most irritating thing of the entire conference because the guy came out and he was like, "You know what people have been asking me for the last 20 years? When's the next Dance Central?" And I was like, "No one has ever fucking asked that. Shut up." Was it the Dance Central one where they had a bunch of people all playing, or was that?
No, that was in the Ubisoft conference where they came on.
Yeah, that was it.
But was that Just Dance?
It was like
I think that was Just Dance.
Was it Just Dance?
They're all the same.
They're all the fucking same.
They were like, they're still playing with the mobile phones, weren't they?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
So the dance game,
Dance
guys.
Central, no one cares. I'm not going to buy an Xbox One for that ever.
But
if
you know what?
Shoot me.
These are like some of the biggest selling games on those consoles because I hate to break this to you guys, but not everybody who is a gamer actually watches HOTFIX or even watches or reads any kind of gaming media. They are Joe Blogs on the street and they're just like rolling down the street. "Oh, dance game, buy." That's how it happens. And they sell quite well because what do normal people do? They like to dince. They like to dince. They like to dance, drink. That was dince, is dance and drink in one. And read 50 Shades of Grey. I don't fucking know. So that's why they buy that
at the same time.
Yeah. So we move on. Now, this is an interesting one, Mr. Kira, because this is, it's exclusive to the Xbox, but I think it's coming out on PC as well. This is Project Spark, which basically should be called Project fucking please get some of that Minecraft pie.
This was a weird one for me because like the cinematic thing that they put in was like, "Look at this crazy world I've made," and then this guy gets to the end of this world and he's like, "Well, where's the rest of it?" And this woman he's talking to goes, "I've made it just now. It's a castle full of traps and monsters and like giant crossbows." It's like, oh yeah, that's good, but I've come up with something better. Look at this desert of death full of like a massive skeletal dragon. But then right, this is the problem that I've got, because I was looking at that and I was thinking, fucking hell, that looks. If it's anything like that, if it looks anything like that, that's kind of good. Yeah, but then they actually showed you the gameplay. They had like a shitty karting game, which was like 4 primary coloured tubes with circles on the side, going round a track that looked like it came from a game from about 10 years ago. There was like a random hack and slash thing. There was some sort of platformer, and I was like, the cinematic makes it look like you can make your own epic RPG world. The gameplay makes it look like you can make indie game number 92 and make your friends play it.
Can you make it a roguelike?
Make it a it can go one or two ways. It could actually turn out to be really like quite something. You know, people would be able to create amazing things with it, and it'll turn out to be quite a big thing. Or alternatively, it's just going to be like a dumping ground for everyone who can't actually make a game but want to give it a try, and you end up just playing rancid.
But it's like, all it is all that game. The reason that game has come about is because literally they've sat down. Hey, you know what the biggest selling game is on our Xbox fucking marketplace? Well, it's Minecraft. So look how many they've sold. Why are people buying this?
By quite a long stretch. Yeah,
they can build stuff in it. So let's make a next gen. But that's all it is, and it's like.
Yeah.
How this turns out, we don't know. But like we said, or like I guess the question is, would you buy an Xbox One based off that? I'd say no. I know you're saying
no. It comes on PC only anyway. It comes on PC as well as Xbox.
Yeah. So,
although apparently, Conker is in it.
I did. And what did we say in TeamSpeak at the time? Who the fuck? What is that squirrel?
Who the fuck is Conker? What is Conker?
And then Twitter was exploding like, oh, Conker, and I'm like, who the fuck is Conker?
It actually took my wife to tell me later on that night.
She knew. What?
She knew who it was purely because the Let's Play channel did a video where they faced off against each other in Conker the Last Nutsack or something. I can't remember what it was called.
Sounds a bit graphic.
It was some kind of stupid named game. Apparently he's a squirrel that swears and makes like.
Is this like a PlayStation 1 game or something?
I don't know. Well, I mean Conker.
I'm going to consult the archives.
Xbox and PC. It must be like an Xbox thing, like an Xbox 360, Xbox One maybe. But they said it's like he hasn't had his own game in 10 years. And I thought, if he hasn't had his own game in 10 years, it means no one gives a fuck. What kind of logic is that?
Hang on. Conker's Pocket Tale came out in 1999 on the Game Boy. And then Conker's Bad Fur Day came out in 2001, Nintendo 64. And then Conker Live and Reload came out on the Xbox in 2005. So maybe they bought the IP or something at that point. It's just an action-adventure platformer.
It's been 9 years since that particular character had a game, and so they're putting it in Project Spark where you make your own.
I think this is simply just a case.
What does that even mean?
We are not console addicts, so we kind of we don't know. We were just like, what the fuck? Who's this guy? Anyway, we move on, Mr. Kirioth, and this is kind of interesting. This is the new game from Limbo. Well, not from Limbo, but from the guys who made Limbo. Okay.
Yeah.
Now. This was only shown at the Microsoft conference. I don't think it was shown at any of the others.
No, don't think so.
Now, if any of you guys are familiar with a Amiga game called I forgot the name of Another World. That's it, right? This was like a platformer game where you were this guy who got sucked into another world. You also drove a Ferrari to work, but then got sucked into like your computer, like a vortex or something, and you went into another world. But it was all surreal, and had like a certain art style. Well, I was getting very strong vibes of that from Inside, which also looks very much like Limbo. I think people who have not played Another World and all these other games, you've played Limbo. A lot of people have. Okay, imagine Limbo with like fully like kind of 3D rendered backgrounds and not 2D, but kind of like slightly 3D-ish platformer style. It looks like that, and it like retains the same sort of, well, not the same color palette because Limbo's just black, isn't it? Grey and white, but it's like that really dark color palette, but there were like some other reds and stuff were showing up.
I really liked Limbo. I thought it was a really, really good game. I really enjoyed it. But Inside, the problem I've got with Inside is at first glance you seem to be playing a kid, right, making his way through like a sort of a creepy, dark.
Yeah, it was like a fascist,
world.
like 19. What is it?
Like
19.
George
Like
Orwell,
fascist, 19 bloody 80, whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
like 1984 kind of
one.
fascist state where you've got to hide and solve puzzles to get to wherever you get. I mean, I hate to say it, but is that not just Limbo? The concept seems identical. It's just a different setting.
The problem is though,
I don't know whether
Limbo
I'm being
worked
harsh,
though, didn't it? So like you can imagine him thinking, let's just like evolve Limbo, which it did look like an evolution of Limbo to me. Like, to be fair, it did. You know, it's like But is this going to be like, again? This is, I don't think this is an Xbox exclusive. Okay, so like, would we buy that on an Xbox? Would we buy an Xbox One for that? We would not. I'm just going to answer that for you. We would not, because we would play it on PC. Why would we? Why would we want to buy another system for that?
I was just like that kind of taken aback by just how similar it was. I was like, this looks like just Limbo slightly more 3D to me. It just didn't. It didn't. Have,
I think it looked
didn't
okay.
Have the uniqueness.
Yeah.
Because
kind of like with
really
Dark Souls 2.
Style.
Dark Souls 2 is a good example of that as well. Where Dark Souls 1 was so like, whoa, but Dark Souls 2 is like, it was. I think Dark Souls 2 is better than Dark Souls 1, but I didn't have the same experience. Kind of like your first MMO experience as well. It's that type of deal, isn't it? We move on anyway, Mr. Kirioth, and now this is to a game I know you like, so I'll let you take this one.
I'm actually quite looking forward to this. Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's the sequel to the Tomb Raider reboot.
I think the name's gash though.
Yeah, the name's terrible. I don't know why. I don't know why they called it Rise of the Tomb Raider. But I really liked the reboot. I thought it was a really good game. There are a few too many quick time events early on for my liking.
Yeah,
but once you got into it, the game time was solid. The story was good. The actual, the tombs and the kind of dungeony areas you entered were, I thought, really well done. And if Rise of the Tomb Raider is more of the same, then I'm absolutely okay with that. If they can expand it more and give you kind of more nice open areas to properly explore and stuff, it should be pretty good, hopefully. And also, I quite liked as well the fact that people have complained about this, right? And I do not understand why. I follow the person who wrote the Tomb Raider reboot, Rhianna Pratchett. She's the daughter of the author Terry Pratchett, and people have been tweeting her saying, "Why is Lara Croft in therapy?" And the response is,
wasn't Lara Croft like raped and fucking attacked and like shot people? And
this is the thing. She went out to do like an archaeological thing on a ship with her friends. The ship got wrecked. She nearly got raped. Her friends all ended up nearly dead. She ended up caught up in some like mental supernatural shit on an island full of people attempting to kill her, and she was forced to fight for her life. I think it's fair, right, to get home after all of that and be like, yeah, I could do with a bit of help with this, because why? It's just like, she brought up a very good point where it's like, if you look at a lot of protagonists, they have these mental things where they're thrown into a completely mental situation. They go around, commit mass murder, like kill everything in sight. Get home, they're like, yeah, I'll do that again. And it's like any emotional impact of that is completely overlooked. Just like, yeah, but he is the strong hero.
Serious post-traumatic stress disorder on a massive level.
And the fact that it's being addressed kind of, I think, fits, because Lara Croft started out as an innocent girl in the reboot, just off on an archaeological dig, and she came back having been through a hell of a lot of, like, more stuff than most soldiers go through in a career. So it's like, yeah, she's gonna have issues, and if they're adding stuff in to make it a bit less kind of, I guess a bit less gung-ho, because that was what I quite liked about Tomb Raider. All the way through Tomb Raider, you got the feeling that she didn't particularly want to be doing this, but she either did it or she died. That was it. Yeah. It was like, there's none of this, hey, we've got a crazy adventure where you've got to go and kill the Nazi scientists, off you go with a gun, and...
Like the films. Like the films were terrible, I thought, with Angelina Jolie. Yeah. They were so terrible. They were like really cheap bad. And like, there's a magical orb, let's go and get it. It's just not real, is it? It's like, what the hell?
No, it was a really bad way of doing the character, but I think the reboot handled Lara Croft really well. I like the new Lara Croft, and so, I mean, Rise of the Tomb Raider, I wish they didn't have that name, but I'm really looking forward to it. But again, it's going to be on PC.
It's not an Xbox exclusive, is it? So, like, the whole point of these conferences to me is to sell their product, but they're just showing games which are available on like multiple platforms, apart from Project Spark and Scalebound, which could potentially be good, but we don't know anything about it. And Halo, which again, even Call of Duty is available on other stuff, but if you want a DLC, then maybe you would buy an Xbox One. But the next game we've got is Phantom Dust, which I don't even know what this is. Now, the trailer opens up and the guy comes out and he's like, yeah, so we knew you wanted Killer Instinct. I knew what Killer Instinct was when they were talking about that. I knew it was a beat-em-up game. Yeah. It was apparently a pretty good one. I never played it, but I knew what it was. I was like, oh yeah, Killer Instinct. Anyway, we know you want to play a game from the past. It's this game, and there's a guy on a park bench going like this, and he gets his hand, and he's like, whoa, and a crazy woman walks over to him, and she goes, whoa, like this, and then suddenly it's like the background disappears, and it's like this apocalyptic version of the city, and then they fly around and go, wee, and I'm like,
Yeah.
What is this? And it comes up and it's like Phantom
like...
Dust. I'm like,
but we were both just sat there going, what? And he even said, it's like, we're bringing back a cult classic. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure cult classic means that like hardly anyone bought it, but the people that did really liked it. It's like that to me is not really a selling point. It's like, okay, yeah, a few people thought this was really good. The rest of the world's got no fucking idea what you're talking about. But those 10 people in the corner, they're all for it. It's like I don't get it. It's like another weird decision for me. It's like that. It's like the MasterChef collection. It's like who is it aimed at?
Winner,
is it aimed at current market? Are they trying to get people that have never heard of Phantom Dust playing? Because if they are, that trailer was not the way to go about it, frankly.
Well,
but like generic guy with blue energy fights generic girl with
we don't know what
pink
it is,
energy.
so we're not going to buy a console. You fucking idiots. Okay, next thing, Mr. Kirioth, is the Division. Now I'm a bit confused with this because I've seen a load of Division gameplay.
Yeah,
there was a demo, and was this the conference that had the demo where they were like speaking in a group and they were like, "Hey,
yes,
we're going to go this way," and it was like horrendously.
It terribly was really scripted.
It sound like if anybody watched the Ubisoft one where they did Rainbow Six. Six even, the new Rainbow Six game, that was like, they've recorded the gameplay and then they've done the voice after and added it, and we can tell straight away because we do gameplay commentary. Yeah. Right, and it's like, that's not live.
And they've also paid voice actors to do it,
like,
who have never played a game.
Yeah,
like, they've never actually played games before.
Yeah,
I mean, the Division one was really, really like that. And I don't know, the Division, I started out excited for it, but I've got to be honest,
Watch Dogs came out and fucking ruined it.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
Yeah, this is the issue. It's like there are similarities between the UI for Watch Dogs and the Division and Assassin's Creed. In fact, all the
every
open world
Ubisoft game
games from Ubisoft have exactly the same UI. You know, you've got lines pointing to where you're supposed to go and little boxes next to it with little information that sparks up.
And a billion side quests.
The Division, to me, I really liked the look of it last year. But this year, I kind of looked at it and thought, yeah, but it doesn't actually look that impressive or that.
You know, different. I look at
them. Basically, like, what's it offering? Is what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I look at it, bloke, and I'm like, I like those lighting effects, but they won't be in the launch client because of fucking Watch Dogs, honestly. And I'm like, this is just gash. Like Watch Dogs, when I think that was 2012. I think they first showed that. Maybe could have been 2000. Yeah, I think it was 2000. I'm not sure. But it looked amazing. It's like, holy shit, look at these lighting effects. There's loads of comparison videos on YouTube. There's a very popular one which shows you the E3 footage and then shows you the launch client, and it's had all of the fancy stuff taken out. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
That would run on a PC fine. Well, it probably wouldn't run on the consoles fine because of how they've not optimized the bloody game engine and all the rest of that stuff.
The thing is, though,
the same thing will happen to the Division.
They bloody delayed Watch Dogs. And then when it came out, it still was not up to scratch.
No.
It was like...
So what state was it in then? Fucking
The Division has been pushed back. Now, admittedly, the Division is... What is it? It's Tom Clancy's The Division, isn't it?
I don't know why, though, because Tom Clancy games are all like Rainbow Six and whatever. It's like, what's Tom Clancy got to do with this? I don't know.
I wonder... I'm genuinely... I mean, people might say I'm an idiot for thinking this, but... Tom Clancy games, generally speaking, have been pretty well polished. Like, obviously not perfect. No game is these days, but there's like a reputation attached to the Tom Clancy tag. That might actually mean that there's a bit more hope for the Division to come out in the state it should do, as opposed to the state that Watch Dogs.
BioWare, Mr. Kirioth, EA did this with BioWare. It's like they got BioWare, realised the name was like attached to great games of old, and they're like, this is from BioWare. It's that type of thing. I think it's like, this is Tom Clancy's The Division. It's like, it's just a bit weird. I mean, maybe Tom Clancy wrote a book on this. I don't know. But it seems a bit weird to me. But my main problem with this is, again, it's not an Xbox exclusive, so it's not making me think, shit, I need an Xbox One. It'll be available on the PCs. That's where we'll be playing it. But will it look like it looks now when it launches? No, it won't.
Will it look how it's supposed to, is the thing. And I think you're right. I don't think it will. And that's a problem, because you can't keep showing us gameplay demos, and then when the game comes out, I go, oh, yeah, well... we had to change some stuff, so it looks nothing like it.
They don't even say that. They're just like, it's the game. And it's like, what the fuck is this shit? Anyway, we go on. Now, this is an Xbox exclusive. This is Crackdown, Mr. Kirioth.
Now, Crackdown, I did not know what to make of this trailer, because it was just mental beyond all belief. But apparently, people had a lot of love for the first Crackdown.
I played the first one, yeah.
I've never played it, but I've heard good things about it.
It's like Grand Theft Auto, basically.
Yeah, apparently the second one was absolutely shit. from what I've heard.
I've not played it, so I don't know.
But I'm going off the opinion of Michael from Achievement Hunter, who described it as a god awful piece of shit. So that's my source for that. But so first one well received, second one apparently not so good. The trailer for this one was just beyond mental. I mean, it was like there was a guy at the top.
There was
of
no gameplay footage as well, guys. This was
no gameplay footage as well. It's just a stupid trailer again, a stupid cinematic trailer, because apparently that's what you need to sell games now. And there was a drone trying to kill this like mob boss gang lord guy at the top of a skyscraper, and it started shooting at him, but he had 11 million miniguns attached to the roof of his skyscraper, so he shot it. So two guys went in, and one of them drove a truck full of explosives into the base of a secondary skyscraper that then fell down and made a ramp up to the first one, and then a truck full of explosives drove up the ramp and blew up there. So two skyscrapers and like hundreds of lives,
thousands,
to take down a single mob boss. Not knowing that much about the game, I don't know whether that is indicative of how that game is going to be.
Well,
but if it
I
is,
think Crackdown's over the top,
mental.
isn't it? I think it was over, like it's supposed to be over the top. Crackdown is. Crackdown 1 was, I believe. Crackdown 2, like I said, I think I did play it. I'm sure that was on the Xbox 360, and I'm sure I played that, but I can't really remember anything about it. But if it's mental, if it's crazy, yeah. I mean, I know the guy who is involved in producing it, and I think producing the Crackdowns, went off to make APB, All Points Bulletin.
Yeah.
And do you remember that? Because he's a Scottish guy, and it was a Scottish studio, and it was APB.
That was a weird one.
Yeah, but that's kind of like that type of Crackdowny GTA world thing.
Yeah.
And I remember all of the stuff coming out before that launched. It looked amazing. Like, I had an amazing character editor. You could like do paint jobs on your cars. It looked awesome. Obviously, it was totally shit.
Yeah,
Came out and was fucking a mess.
I was like, Jesus, it looks amazing, and then it turned out to be a horrible disappointment.
They spent millions on it as well. Like, they spent loads of money on it, and it was just a total disaster. But I think Perfect World bought it, and now it's like a fairly successful free-to-play like MMO style thing. It was supposed to be an MMO anyway, like a big multiplayer Grand Theft Auto type thing. But again, didn't show any gameplay. So again, I'm like, well, I know this exists now, but I'm not like, holy Christ, bollocks me. That's the phrase, by the way. It's not. We're going to go out and we're going to buy an Xbox One. It's like, whatever. Yeah. So the next game we've got, onto the last two. Well, I say the last two. There was like 1,000 indie games or whatever they showed. Yeah. But again, most of them are probably available on PC. They didn't specifically say this is exclusive to us. PC. Sony did. Yeah. Entwined, they went, this is just for us, I think. I don't think you can get, at the moment anyway, because we played it, didn't we, the other day, Entwined, but whatever. So we've got Fable Legends. Now, I've never played any Fable games, Mr. Kirioth. So I don't fucking care, Mr. Kirioth.
No, I haven't. People have told me to play like Fable 1, and I've never got around to it, and I just, it's not a franchise that it's ever really grabbed me. Like, I've never really felt the need to go and experience it. And the latest Fable Legends, it's like 4-player co-op, but each person has got a distinct character, and then the villain of the game is like another person who has got like a top-down RTS view.
Wasn't this like some sort of multiplayer mode for it or something? But this, if you've ever played Dungeon Land, this is a game from Paradox Interactive. Well, Paradox publish it. It's a game like where Dungeon Land it's called because one person's the dungeon master, the other players are like the people inside the dungeon, and it's kind of like a user-generated Diablo. So you've got like a co-op group, you've got 4 players or whatever, and then the boss guy is basically deciding what monsters to spawn and setting up traps and stuff like that to try and kill the group. And it looks like they've totally ripped that off.
I want to say, to be honest, that it looked just a bit like I kind of want to use the word cliche, but I don't like it. I don't like that word, but it's like...
Well, it was female characters with no armour as well. What was that about?
Well, yeah,
she was a tank.
That was a comment.
Had like a massive shield.
That was a comment I even made, because my wife was sat behind me on the sofa, we were watching it, and I was like, so apparently this woman has got a full like breastplate, full massive shield, sword.
She had a full breast,
and completely bare
legs.
That. It's like, why was she wearing a mini skirt instead of armor? What was that about?
It's just terrible.
That pisses me off in any game now. It's just it's got to the point now where a lot of people are like, oh yeah, but it brings in a certain demographic. No, fuck your demographic. It looks retarded. I don't like it. Stop it. But like with Fable Legends, I just looked at it and I just thought, it doesn't look like anything. It doesn't look like its own game. It looked like a mismatch of just every kind of generic RPG you could possibly find. And the whole thing of, oh yeah, well, in the online multiplayer, someone can play the villain. It's like, yeah, but that's not new. That's not been new for quite a long time. Just the concept by itself.
It's not new to us because we're heroes. Maybe to some people it is. I don't know. But we're gonna move on because I just don't think that was not making me think, oh Christ, this is amazing.
It didn't grab me.
Forza, Mr. Kirioth. I think this was Forza Horizon 2 or something like that. Now,
or Forza 8 or Forza.
We don't fucking know. It's a racing car game. I did have Forza on a Xbox 360 I bought a long time ago. And I remember thinking, shit, they've done a good job on the cars because graphically, even on the Xbox, they look really good.
Yeah.
So I guess this will probably look way better than that. It did look pretty good what they showed, but it's a racing game, and I don't really have that much experience. And again, I was just like, okay, there's not really anything to say about it. It's just like
no. I mean, for me, the main
didn't have any
issue with
crazy features or anything.
But then it can't, can it? That's the issue with Forza. It's like it's only ever going to appeal to people who like that game because it's. What can they do to break out? There's nothing. The games always look, in fairness, Forza games always look incredible. Like there's no, you can't argue with that. The cars are always like ridiculously detailed.
Yeah.
But it's like if you're not a particularly big racing game player, it's just like it's just a blip.
But you
on the
can
radar.
kind of say that about anything though. But it didn't like. I'm not a big racing car game player, but when I seen the Crew from Ubisoft, I was kind of interested. Okay, I think what they showed wasn't that good, but I was like, oh, that looks like an interesting concept. But Forza, it was just like race around a track, beat your friends. Well, it's like, yeah, it's just a racing game. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's not enough to make me want to buy an Xbox.
No.
And then there was ID. Like, that's the problem, isn't it? And then like
ID
finally
at Xbox.
Yeah, this is for indie, isn't it? Does it stand for indie or something? At Xbox,
ID like independent, I think is probably what they're going for.
And they just literally said, oh, we're going to have more indie games, and suddenly showed you 1,000 indie games, and that was it. So we can't really comment on that because we don't know if they're platform specific or whatever. It was just like, here's 1,000 indie games, Merry Christmas. So Mr. Kirioth, I'm going to go in and I'm going to recap what the hell I'm going to view. Last year Microsoft, I don't really like this phrase because like who won E3, who lost E3 and all this shit. But Microsoft comprehensively lost E3, right?
Yeah.
They were terrible because they've turned up to a games expo and talked about the TV and how you can use Skype and all this shit. And everybody was like, what the fuck is this? The fallout was absolutely devastating to the point of
it was bad.
The PS4 obliterated them completely in sales, and it like even has now. They're doing okay, don't get me wrong. Like they're not like Wii U levels of capitulation, the Xbox. But not as good as they should have done. What they should have done last year is said, what they've done this year, we're about the games, showed off all the games, Rise, Son of Rome, all the other shit, and just like slammed you with loads of games. And yeah, so what if they're not platform specific? Just show the games off. Would have done much better than, oh, it's connectors, this is that. It was really bad. So I think it's good to see that they've actually learned from their mistakes. And they did say thanks to all the feedback. It's kind of funny they call it feedback because there will probably somebody sitting there at Microsoft on the Twitter account just constantly getting abused all day long. Like, oh god,
weeping into their coffee as the day goes on.
What have we done?
Jesus!
Can you imagine the meetings they had?
This is the 19th picture of someone.
Don Matrick, come into my office.
Don Matrick's head. I can't
sit
handle
down
this anymore, please.
What the fuck has gone on? He's like, but boss, TV.
And he's like, but boss, I'm leaving to go to Zynga. So, whatever it is. I don't care.
I'm off to play Farmville. No. it was such a terrible thing. So it is good that they've learned from that.
This year's was a lot better. And it was less... I think as well, it's... Cringeworthy is a really frustrating phrase. Like, it's become far too kind of...
Yeah, it wasn't.
Oh my God,
I didn't think it was cringeworthy, actually.
But actually, this year, I thought they did a really good job. It was literally just, here's the game, here's the person who is making the game, this is what the game is going to be. And frankly, that's what I want.
It felt like it went fast as well for me. Like suddenly it was like, 90 minutes.
It didn't drag.
It wasn't like this thing where it was like, oh, the only thing that was terrible about it is it would cut to game developers and ask them like, what is the first game you've played? And it would be all like cliched shit like, I remember playing Pong. I played Pac-Man. Woo! It's like, you haven't, mate. Fuck off. Maybe they have, but it's such a generic thing to say.
The problem I had with that was it didn't actually fit with the rest of the conference, like the rest of their presser, because the rest of it was so directed. It was like so kind of, we are making up for our complete like mess of last time. Here are the games. But then it was like suddenly there were people in between not talking about any of the actual games they were talking about, but talking about games that they used to play. It probably, if the conference had been a bit more, like, I guess not quite as direct, I think it probably would have worked and it probably would have irritated me. But because of the way they presented everything, because it was just game, here's here's a guy talking about the time he played Pokemon. Game. But it's like, what the fuck is that guy doing there?
You know what, as well? They had a after E3 like question and answer session. So as soon as not after E3, after their press conference. So as soon as it finished, like literally 10 minutes after it finished, Major Nelson, I think the guy's name is, he's like the community guy or whatever the hell it is with Xbox. He comes out, like, not onto the stage, but kind of in front of the stage at this point. He's sitting on like a stool with a couple of other people, like somebody from Halo, somebody from something, and they are asking the worst questions you've ever seen. And I thought to myself, it's a good job this wasn't actually in the main conference, because it was like, wow, so Halo's coming out. What made you decide to re-release it? You know, it's like, well, Halo is so great. It's like, yeah, that is really terrible. And it's like, nobody wants to see that. And I just turned the stream off at that point. But the main presentation was much better from Microsoft, so well done. But do I want to buy an Xbox right now? I don't. But they've made some good strides forward. You can now buy the Xbox for 350 quid brand new in the UK without the Kinect, which is still a lot of money. I think I paid that for my PS4. No, I paid a little bit more because I bought a stupid fucking crazy bundle. But you can basically buy a PS4 for that much, I think, in the UK. Even cheaper. I've seen like 329 I've seen for the PS4. And at the end of the day, the PS4 is a far superior machine in terms of its power. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to the type of games that are coming out onto it.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to leave you with this bombshell, Mr. Kirioth. And that is, after the Sony conference, which we will cover in another hotfix, I thought, fucking hell, I'm really glad I've bought a PS4 and not an Xbox One. But you'd have to wait out to find out why I would think such a thing.
Oh.
Cliffhanger.
Oh.
I've learned off you, Mr. Kirioth. I've learned off the best.
Good Lord. Good Lord.
All right, then, guys. So this has been a long hotfix, but then there's a lot to talk about. Leave your comments below based on what you've seen and what you thought of the Microsoft E3 press. Okay? And obviously comment on what we've said, because maybe we're talking shit. And if you know who Conker is, then tell us. Although I kind of told you. Tell us anyway.
Also, Phantom Dust.
Yeah, no, Phantom Dust. Tell us about that.
For God's sake, what the hell is that?
All right, then, guys. We are, well, you can follow us on Twitter, but you'll have to find out our Twitter account information by clicking in the description below and then clicking on our things. And we're out of it, Mr. Kirioth. So, toodle pip.